You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I am on 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, and I'm just grateful for Joe Montaldo for allowing me to spend a couple hours Sunday and Tuesday nights with you guys from 8:10 to 9:10. Hey Sparky, good to see you, bud. Thank you for popping in. Sundays and Tuesday nights from 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. on this platform. I also signed up for Twitch too, so the show is being broadcasted on Twitch. So we'll see how that goes from there. Just a quick couple announcements. Right after my show at 9:15 p.m., the Gateway Podcast with my friend CL. She is going to have a wonderful guest on tonight. CL Thomas. That's the girl, not my friend's name. And her show is the Gateway Podcast. And right after mine, 9:15 p.m., stick around and listen to her show. Also, just a little reminder too that this Sunday coming up, February 16th, I am going to have the cast of Paranormal Pittsburgh. A couple of weeks ago, I showed you a TV edition, editing whatever was put on TV with these kids going up to Gettysburg, and we did the investigation up there. So February 16th, they are going to be on the show. Tell everybody to come, ask as many questions as you want. It will be nice to see them again. And I'm really looking forward to it. So this Friday, Valentine's Day is coming up, right? And I don't want to get really too much into it. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Hey, Mr. Wojo, good to see you too, sir. Look at you, you handsome fellow. I like that, man. Put a smile on my face. That's good to know. But so Valentine's Day is coming up this Friday. So I was, not reminiscing, but I was just thinking, what's so important about Valentine's Day? Yeah, you did, buddy. Yes, you did get me. Um, so what is so important about Valentine's Day and your sweetheart? What it is that you're buying chocolates, roses, having a romantic dinner, um, and of course, a lot of babies being conceived that night. And but I'd like to have your opinion. Do you honestly think it's a awesome holiday, or do you just think it's a way for businesses to make money? Because think about it, you don't have to wait to Valentine's Day to make a romantic meal for your sweetie. You know what I mean? You don't have to wait till Valentine's Day to buy your kids some chocolate hearts or give them some cards. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm being a bah humbug Valentine's Day, whatever. But I really never got into it, if you know what I mean. But I would like to hear everybody else's opinion. If you have an opinion about it, I would love to hear it. We'll share it with you on the show, and we can also, talk a little bit about it. But tonight we're talking about weird stuff in Pennsylvania. Okay, I have this book. Let me get it out, and let me see if I can show it to you through. Let's see, Weird Pennsylvania. Okay, and there's a lot of crazy stuff in this book. I mean, I could do a whole year of shows just on that book alone about how weird Pennsylvania is. And basically what it is a lot of urban legends that are put into a book. Sparky said, let me put that up so I can read it better. Sparky's Paranormal Outdoors, it's all year for me in my awesome life of 25 years. It's just another day to say love you to those that matter. Thank you for sharing that, Sparky. That's I'd like to hear that. And congratulations on 25 years of marriage, man. That's awesome. But so as I was reminiscing through the book today, I was wondering, well, what kind of stuff is in this book that I think that my people would be interested in? So, of course, what I do is I just open up the book and then I look and see what I get. Well, guess what came up today? Covered bridges. Okay. There is a lot of covered bridges in the state of Pennsylvania. And there also, a lot of covered bridges are supposedly being haunted. Okay. Now, I know of 3 that are very haunted here in Pennsylvania. But as I was reading some of this stuff that's in this book, I picked out like 3 that the book has mentioned. I will talk about the other 3 that I do know that are in Pennsylvania. But why, you cross a covered bridge, okay? And I crossed many. B Hoot says, oh, I bring it up. I like it. Hi, D. Good to see you, hon. D says, I believe it is from the Feast of St. Valentine's Martyr, but I don't know why. As with everything, it changed over the years. I do believe St. Valentine, yes, he was a martyr, and he was canonized as a saint. And I do believe, I just read it, he is a patron saint of lovers. He was canonized on February 14th. Ollie McNair. Oh, yeah, Ollie, good to see you. Scotsman, good to see you, dude. But why are covered bridges so haunted? Spooky says, agreed, bud. And hey, but why are covered bridges haunted? I mean, they claim that there was a lot of suicides that happened on covered bridges. They said that there was a lot of murders on covered bridges. But why? Why is that? I mean, they are creepy looking, but they're also beautiful too. Very, very, very pretty. But, especially the ones that jump from the bridges or the ones that hang themselves from the bridge, it just blows me away. But I believe that covered bridges, not only are they beautiful to look at during the daytime, um, um, but there is some weird, eerie feelings sometimes as you walk through there. Yes. And I know 3 of them. I know 2 of them, but one isn't covered. But the ones that I want to bring up first, okay, they are in Bucks County, and these are a couple of different types of hauntings that go on in Bucks County. Okay? And I got my notes. I wrote them down today. And the first one from Bucks County comes from a bridge called the Van Zandt. That's VANSANDT Bridge. It's in eastern Pennsylvania. That's where Bucks County is. And I'm telling you what, Bucks County, there's a lot of paranormal activity that happens up in Bucks County. But the one that the very first story that I came across was about a woman that with a baby was attacked and murdered there. The killer later drowned the baby afterward. Now, people say they hear the woman bemoaning the loss of her child. They eventually caught the killer and hung him on the bridge. And a lot of people who go to that bridge at night, they walk it, and at night they can actually hear, the woman weeping or bemoaning her child that was killed. Okay, D says, the covered bridges remind me of days of yore, hose and buggy days. Yes, ma'am. Some of them actually are so strong. Horse hoops, okay. Not hose, it's horse. It's okay. But people hear her ghost walking up and down the bridge. And some people have actually seen her. Covered bridges, this one I've never been to, but I will tell you all this: when I retire, I am going to go on a covered bridge investigation, and I'm going to try to hit as many covered bridges as I can. The ones especially, hey Joe Fox, good to see you, buddy. And I'm going to try to hit a lot of covered bridges up, in Pennsylvania, and see if they're truly haunted or not, if I can get some evidence of these haunted bridges, and I'm looking forward to that. Joe, up where you live, buddy, is there any covered bridges that are haunted? Or anybody in the chat room tonight, is there any place like a covered bridge or any type of bridge that is haunted, and does it have a story behind it? But when they caught the killer of this woman, okay, they actually hung him in the middle of the bridge. But no one has actually seen the ghost of the dude who did the killing. Unfortunately, no covered bridges close to me. And that's okay, Joe. That's not a problem. Go out and find one. Hey, Kason, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. But so why do like certain ghosts show themselves or appear on a bridge where the other person who died doesn't show themselves? Especially the killer of that young lady. Um, Maybe the boy's in hell. Who knows where he's at? But it's sad. It's sad that this lady got killed with the baby, especially when you drown the baby. But people have actually heard the woman walk the bridge. Okay, Sparky. Thoughts cover bridge structure with roof and lore, and it is like a house. Thoughts. Let me repeat. Thoughts. Covered bridge structure with roof and lore, it is like a house. Thoughts. Sebastian Moran, good evening, Sean. Good show tonight. Thank you, Sebastian. Well, my thoughts. It could be a house. If you look at it, you could actually look at it, as a garage if you really want to. And D, that's a good question, D. I really wish I had an answer for you. Maybe somebody in the chat does have an answer for her. Why do you suppose they covered the bridge? Maybe, like you were saying, maybe back in the lore of the old days, when it was horse and buggy, maybe they put the roof over the bridge. So you can kind of like dry out and like hide, be inside the bridge as it rains or snows. Who knows? I don't have an answer for you, my friend. But if anybody else out there has an answer for that question by D, please feel free to answer it. That would be great if you can. But that's what these are all in Bucks County, what I'm going to share with you tonight. Okay. So the second one, a woman, she became pregnant with twins. A woman again with babies. I got to read this. She didn't have a husband, and she did not have support. She drove herself to despair. Oh, hold on, Sparky got something here. Sparky says back in the day it was to help with ice. So Ruth kept heat to help with that, and snow and rain. Thank you, Sparky. I appreciate that answer. D, I hope that answered your question there, but I do like that answer. Thank you very much, Sparky. And Sparky, I got to get you on the show, my friend, if you're up for it. Would they be vestiges of what was, hold on. Would they be vestiges of what was once England homeland? Hey, Michael Anthony, good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. I don't know, bud. D says, well, that's why we don't have them in Texas. Okay, I appreciate that, Spark. But all I know is that they're beautiful bridges. But back to the second story that I got. Okay. Let me get back here. All right. So this woman became pregnant with twins with no husband and no support. She drove herself to despair and jumped off the bridge with her twins. People say they can hear two screaming children below and near the water. Awesome. All right, Sparky, that's cool. Whenever you get your computer, sir, please send me a message and we'll get you on the show. That would be pretty cool. But so this lady, who's down on her luck, takes her two twins and she jumps with them. And then people whoever walked the bridge. I don't know if these bridges were ever investigated by a paranormal team. Yes, it is sad, Michelle. Yes, I do believe they did have covered bridges in England. Yes, that they could. I do believe they do. I'm not sure about that, but that's something maybe somebody can look up and find out if they do or not. Um, but so when people walk across that bridge, okay, it is the same bridge, the Van Sant Bridge. This is the second story from it, right? It just seems like people who are, I guess, destined to be unalive. I have to say that. I can't say the other word. End up at that bridge. Now, I do not know what years that these unalives happen, but it's it's sad. It's really sad about that. It always has to do with children. It seems like most of the stories that I've read that I did not get into my show. Hey, Mark Eddie, good to see you, sir. Thank you for popping in. But we're going to have to, like I told you guys before, I'm going to definitely go on a covered bridge investigation of all the covered bridges that I can get to and actually do an investigation in them and see what I pick up. I think that would be an interesting type of road trip for me to do. Sparky says, yes, they do, as they have less snow but cold, wet. Most of their covered roofs have moved over hang on ends to keep the heat in, if I remember right. Yeah. But so I'm looking forward to that. Tom Barker. Yeah, I was going to get to that, my friend. How you doing today, buddy? Good to see you. So there's one more story that I might save for last, but Tom brought up Sachs Covered Bridge. And you know I talk about that bridge on my show all the time. Sachs Covered Bridge is in Adams County, which maybe is about a mile or two away from the battlefield of Gettysburg. Okay. Now, the story behind that bridge was that 3 Confederate soldiers were hung there for treason, and that the 3 Confederate soldiers are still there. Now, with all my experiences going up to Gettysburg, and I've gone up there many a times, and that's like my favorite place to go to in that whole battlefield is Sachs Covered Bridge. Okay. And there was many nights that I would go down with my team, or I would go down with another person. And it'd be about midnight, 1 in the morning, which is the best time to go to that bridge because there's not too many people there. Okay. If you go to Sachs Covered Bridge in Gettysburg in the summertime, there's just so many people up there because they're up there visiting Gettysburg. And once people tell them about how haunted Sachs Covered Bridge is, they all flock there. I mean, I have seen some crazy people. I've seen at least, at one point in time, no lie, about 50 people on this bridge. And this bridge, Tom, you're taking my stuff. Did ever I hit the Suicide Bridge in Gettysburg? Yes, I did. I did hit the Suicide Bridge. That is creepy, the Suicide Bridge. But back to Sachs. And you just can't do it in the summertime. There's just too many people. And it's so hard to actually try to get evidence, especially EVPs, because there's so many people talking and walking that bridge okay, that you might as well just throw your EVP session out the window because, you know, because just too much noise. But if you recall back when I showed part 2 of that show, Paranormal Pittsburgh and Gettysburg, I did get like stabbed in the back. I did. And I don't know if anybody else, listening to the show or in the chat room, if anybody else ever got scratched or bit by the spirit. Usually it's 3 scratches. Okay. Yeah, Tom, fall's the best time to go. It's really beautiful and nobody is there. But absolutely, late September, early October is when I like to go because the leaves are changing, and it's just Gettysburg's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to go to. But I do know of one ghost up there. Okay, and he is from Tennessee. Okay, and whenever I'm there, and this is true. Whenever I'm there, he just likes to put on a show for people and me. Okay, and he'll light up the K2 meter. He will touch people's shoulders. He wouldn't hurt them, but he likes to be known. Especially when there's a lot of people, this dude from Tennessee likes to come out. But what I started to do was that I would leave him a cigarette and a match. Just one match. And I offered it to him, And it just seems like by gifting him this cigarette and this match, right? He was like in heaven. Definitely in heaven. But also at the Saks Covered Bridge, down the sides are trails, okay? The one side, when you pull into the parking lot, you go down, there's a little trail that walks along the creek up there. And when you walk that creek at night, you definitely feel the eyes upon you. You actually can tell the difference in the temperatures. Because if you go in the summertime and it's hot, and it gets hot in Gettysburg, but say like it's like 86, 90 degrees, out in Gettysburg. But once you get into the bridge, or once when you get into walking down that trail, that temperature drops and it gets like really, really cold. There were a couple times that I could actually see my breath coming out, breathing when I was on the bridge, and it had to be in the 80s, late 70s, 78, 79. Let's see. Sparky said, D-Hoot, it looked like for covered bridges, snow or normal rain, ice areas, the end where you drive are open areas where it is cold and wet. UK ends have caps on the end, normally decorated, the decoration. Joe Fox says, Bucks County covered bridge is known as Crybaby Bridge because of the ghostly legend. Yes, and I do believe that is the Van Sant Bridge, the Crybaby Bridge. Yes. I got that out of the Weird Pennsylvania book. And Tom, he said that I have been scratched, hair pulled, pushed, attacked many a times. Tom's a good paranormal investigator, everybody. Everybody, Tom Barker, everybody. But he's a very good paranormal investigator. And so I don't have no hair, so they don't pull my hair. but I have been pushed. I have been scratched. I have actually been bitten. Okay. And when this happens, it just like, since spirit is like so full of energy, that when you get zapped by a spirit, you feel it. And it just doesn't go away. I mean, the feeling, you just don't feel right for 3 days, 3 or 4 days after that. I don't know if you experienced that, Tom, where when you get zapped, that you only get like, you have to wait like 2 to 3 days to actually fully recover, you know? Now, a lot of people get attacked and pushed because they like to provoke the spirits. And that's one of my main rules if you ever wanted to investigate with me, is that you never, ever, ever provoke the ghost so you can get some evidence. Because look at it like this. Okay, look at it like this. I mean, they're intelligent, you know. They are intelligent spirits. And if Tom was a ghost and I come up and calling him every freaking name in the book, either A, he's going to go away, or B, he's going to, rough me up a little bit. The thing is, being a ghost attacking a person, you just don't know where it's going to come. Okay. Oh, yeah. Tom bringing up, wow. Tom says, was pushed in Gettysburg and broke leg behind school. Oh, okay. I got a story behind that, behind the skull. Needed 2 surgeries and rods. Oh, my gosh. Okay, Tom, now the story. Is that the high school, Gettysburg High School? Because if that is, right behind that high school, there was a unit of Louisiana Confederate troops there. But here with them, okay, they were pulled from the jails. They were the worst of the worst of the worst in Louisiana, and that's why they called them the LSU Tigers. Okay, during the Confederate, and a lot of them got hung behind Gettysburg. Hey, CL, my girl, welcome. That's CL Thomas. Everybody, CL Thomas is in the house, and this is the young lady who has the show after my show tonight. And her show starts at 9:15. So after my show, hang around and we'll check out CL's team, CL's show. But back, like I was saying before, Tom, behind the school, the LSU Confederate Tigers were actually hung there. And I think they were hung there by their own people. They were savages. And if I'm not mistaken, too, that the Jenny Wade house up there is pretty close to the high school itself, too. But I guess you can go anywhere in Gettysburg and you can actually find ghosts, Let's see. Joe Fox says, these spirits do not know it's 2025. Time is not linear to them. They still think it's the 17 or 1800s. That's true. You got a point there, Joe. Maybe some of them are intelligent to know that it is 2025, but you're right, because there is no time out there in spirit world. I mean, they're smart enough to see what people are doing, using all that equipment to get evidence or calling them out, shit like that, and they're no dummies. Thank you, CL. You rock, honey. Joe Fox says you rock. Her show does rock. It's a good show. But spirits are intelligent. They know what's up. They do know what's up. Tom Barker said yes, by the football field. Very haunted area. And you know what else, Tom? I used to stay at the Hotel 1812. It used to be a Holiday Inn right there next to the Jenny Wade house. It's called the 1812 or 1863 hotel now. So if you're on the fifth floor, I always got the fifth floor. When you're on the fifth floor, there's actually a ghost of a soldier that walks that hallway like that, back and forth all the time. And if you go over, go outside to have a smoke and you look behind the hotel, there's a path, a walking path. And you can actually see, and as God is my witness, I've actually seen soldiers walk up and down that path. It was like 2, 3 in the morning, but they're there, I also like to go into the town of Gettysburg. See, a lot of people think when you go there, that you have to go out on that battlefield to go investigate. No. If you do remember, July 1st, 1863, the battle went through the town of Gettysburg, and there was a lot of men killed. There was Jenny Wade. She was the only casualty of a non-military person, but there was a lot of people killed in the town of Gettysburg on the first day. And when you go through Gettysburg at night, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, there's no cars on the road at all. Not one. The bars close down early, so no one's out on the street. And then you go over by the orphanage. And then you go down by, just walk the street and you turn down and you look at like little alleys and you just like start snapping pictures down there, and you do get some good evidence. Not too many orbs, but I have gotten a lot of mist, in which our world we call it ectoplasm. Okay, D says, I wonder if anyone has investigated wearing a military uniform from either side. D, they have. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. They do a lot of reenacting up there at Gettysburg. And some of the reenactors from Maryland over at Culp's Hill, I went over there and I've asked them about ghosts and stuff, if they've seen any. And they have so many stories to talk about how they seen other Confederate soldiers that were like ghosts, Gettysburg reenacts every year from July 1st to the 3rd. Okay, and they have actually had some stories to where people actually picked up spirits, ghosts of Confederate soldiers. And a lot of people think they are just going back to, the camp where the reenactors are at. And here, there isn't. I highly suggest that you, do some research on it, the Ghost of Gettysburg. Okay. There's a books, a lot of short stories about the Ghost of Gettysburg. But you know what? To me, I just don't have, I don't feel like a lot of them are true, and it's just stories down. Kaysen says, Sean, do you know where the term pull my leg comes from? I don't, sir. Do you? Tom Barker said, did a private residence farm in Gettysburg that was makeshift hospital where arms and legs were tossed out the second floor window after amputations? Oh, that would be creepy, man. That would be an awesome investigation to do something like that, Tom. I have investigated the Kadori farm, and it was like pretty creepy. But I love the town of Gettysburg. at night, 1, 2 in the morning to investigate. Mark Paul says, share to Swanton, Ohio Paranormal. Just thank you very much, Mark. I truly appreciate that, sir. I appreciate that. That was cool. Thank you. Joe Fox says, I love the fact that CL show is on right after you. It's like a double scoop of butter pecan ice cream. Dude, dude, I'm telling you, that was pretty cool. That's cool. Okay, D says I better take my break. Tom Barker, God bless him. I did hit Shawnee in West Virginia. Yes, a lot of good history and a very, very haunted place. I actually did investigate Lake Shawnee, and that's another place you ought to go to. All right, okay. Oh, shit, I can't take my break now. I got about 10 minutes left there, D. But I'll remember, when I get into Gettysburg, when I'm talking about the Civil War, I just go all out. You know what I mean? So sorry, no break today, guys. Brenda Ryan says, the saying pull a leg originates from London in the late 18th century. It comes from Tyburn, the place where public hangings were carried out. The phrase refers to the practice of mercifully ending a hanging quickly by putting on the person's legs. Huh. Okay, you could take yours, hon. Go ahead. I'm good for another 9 minutes. So hopefully we'll see you in about 5 or 6. Okay. Sorry about that. I just got really, really interested. But Tom has mentioned something said about the suicide bridge. And actually the name of that suicide bridge is called, what the hell is it called? The John E. Eisenhower Bridge. And it's right up from Sachs Covered Bridge. But it's not a covered bridge, the Eisenhower Bridge. It's just a regular bridge that goes over the creek, you know. And we did an investigation up there twice on one weekend, and we got a lot of creepy shit. Yes. Got a lot of mist, we got a lot of ectoplasm, we got a lot of orbs, we got a lot of shadows. And I mean, I could show you hundreds and hundreds of, pictures of shadows from the place maybe, or whatever. But the only way to experience Sachs Covered Bridge or the Suicide Bridge, right, is that you actually have to be there and go there and be there. Because when you're investigating, okay, it's not so much the stuff that you catch on film or video or regular pics. It's what you feel. It's what your body feels like. Your spidey senses start kicking in, Now, I really haven't researched the Eisenhower Bridge that much, or the Suicide Bridge, however you want to call it. But even getting back there, you go down this dirt road to get there. Just going down that road's like really creepy. But it's so hard. It's so hard in the summertime, and fall too, because it seems like a lot more people go to the Suicide Bridge more than they do go to Sachs. Now, to me, I really, really like Sachs Covered Bridge, and I really do like the Eisenhower. But I like to do the Sachs Covered Bridge in the fall when no one's there, And I do like the Eisenhower Bridge during the summer because not too many people are there, really. There's like about 10 to 15 people. It's a small bridge, but there's not like hundreds of people there, It's just a very interesting place. So if anybody gets the opportunity to go into Gettysburg, go to those two bridges. I'm telling you, you have to feel it. You have to feel it to understand why they're so haunted. And it's just not those bridges. It's everywhere that you go to investigate. It's all about the energy in the air. Um, but I do want to get to the last story, and it comes from Bucks County. These all stories were coming from Bucks County. And it's from the town of Bristol. Uh, the girl's name, the ghost's name is called Midnight Mary, and the Lady of the Lake. The town of Bristol story goes that she accepted a ride from a young man who was drunk. The boy lost control of his car and crashed into Tullytown Lake. That's Tullytown, Tullytown Lake. They did dredge the boy up from the bottom, but not the girl. And people claim they see a young woman hitchhiking the road. She appears and then she disappears. So Tom Barker says Sachs Bridge has not been the same since big street lights installed. Yeah, but they're not installed inside the bridge, my friend. They're not installed by the bridge. And it does kind of help because, there's a lot of really sick, demented people out there. So why would they want to, it's just for the protection. Plus, I wouldn't doubt it if it was for insurance purposes. But I have a story to tell you, and then we're going to have to get going here. Okay. Talking about seeing ghosts on the road, on the side of the road. So I was up in Conneaut Lake this past couple months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. And on my way home, I was coming down 79, which is a main road, going through up there in Conneaut from Erie down to Pittsburgh. And so I'm driving down, I'm wide awake. And as I'm driving, all of a sudden, I see something come from the side of the road and walk out into the middle of the road. And, and I'm flying down 79, okay? And I was like, holy shit. I swear to God, I put the brakes on so hard I thought I was going to die. I mean, because I really slammed on the brakes. And as I came to a complete stop, that thing I saw that crossed the road was not there. Yes, Sparky. Yes, it's true. And I tell you what, I just did the speed limit on the way home. And every time that I would thought I'd see a shadow, I'd just like really slow down, But this was 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I actually saw something cross the road, and in the middle of the road, it just disappeared. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Don't worry, don't be sorry that missed the show. You can always catch the rerun. But I'm glad that at least you popped in. It's nice to have you in the rooms tonight. It really, really is. But that was the creepiest thing that ever happened to me. As seeing some type of ghost or entity or whatever it was that crossed the road that then it wasn't. I thought it was a deer, but it was not a deer. And I thought it was a person, and it wasn't a person, because I literally, if it was a real person, I'd be in jail right now because I would have hit the person, guaranteed. But I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. It is getting close to the witching hour, okay? And I'm really grateful and thankful of all the comments that I did see. Yeah, that's a life experience. Wow. Yes, sir. Yes, Sparky, it was, dude. It was. It shook me up pretty bad. It really did. Tom says, I had a young lady walk up the road and came on my porch and sat next to me. She said her name was Amber and called me Dad. Ex-wife had miscarriage years ago. Holy crap. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, Tom, that would be insane. Tom just wrote, I had a young lady walk up my road and came on my porch and sat next to me. She said her name was Amber and called me Dad. Ex-wife had miscarriage years ago. Oh, that's for another show, Tom. It's definitely for another show. Oh, you're welcome, Michelle. Thank you for popping in. But remember, everybody, February 16th, next Sunday, I'm going to have the cast of Paranormal Pittsburgh on with me. We're going to do a little question and answering or just to see what they're doing now. Don't forget, at 9:15 tonight, you got C.L. Thomas's show, the Gateway Podcast. Okay, stick around and listen to her show. She's a good person. You know, on this channel, right? All the hosts like to support other hosts, so I'm supporting CL and the others. But yeah, seriously, stick around and check her show out. I want to thank everybody for coming in and sharing, you know, what they in the chat room. And I thought it was a pretty good show tonight. And I appreciate it. Michelle says, great vibe on both shows. Yes, ma'am, it is. Now, everybody, if you haven't, I need to tell you this. Children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. I'll get you on, Tom. Good night, Kason. I definitely will. Dee, thank you for popping in. Go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you don't have no parents, and if you don't have children, find somebody and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that note, good night, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Don't forget, Miss C.L. Thomas, the Gateway Podcast is on next. See you Sunday night. Good night.